guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I have an eyeshadow palette review for you guys. If you guys read the title, you guys know we're going to be talking about the Pat McGrath Bronze Seduction palette, or the Mothership V as it's also called. But I actually have purchased a lot of new palettes recently, and it's so hard to kind of test them all and really figure out which ones to review and get up right away. So this video is up a little bit late, but I really wanted to have a good amount of time to really test out this product and see if it is worth it or not, because as you guys might know, it's very expensive. So I really wanted to take my time with this one, really try out a few different looks so I can give you guys my honest thoughts and opinions. But yes, I do have a bunch of other eyeshadow palettes that I'm also wanting to review, so I might do some little quick get ready with me tutorials and like a mini review with my other palettes, just because I don't know if I have time to do all of them. So you guys will have to let me know how that sounds. But anyways, let's go ahead and start off with this palette review. So this is what this palette looks like. This is my very first eyeshadow purchase from Pat McGrath. I've actually been really wanting to try out her formula for probably a year. I remember she came out with a mini bronze palette that I swatched in the store one time, and I was like blown away by the swatches, and I knew sometime that I really wanted to pick up one of her palettes, and I totally would have bought that other one, but it only has like one matte shade in it, and I'm very picky with my palettes. I like to use one palette for one look. I don't like to go into multiple palettes, and I need it to have like everything. So the fact that it only had one matte and everything else was shimmers, that's the reason why I passed over it. But when I saw that they were coming out with this, I believe it was early fall, I saw the swatches and I was like, I need this palette. So I just ordered it online. I didn't ever swatch it or anything. I wasn't really sure what to expect. I just know that I love the swatches and the colors looked really good, and there's at least 2 mattes in here. So this was really cool to open up. This one is one of her big palettes. So she has her, I believe, Mothership palettes, and then there's like these small Mothership palettes as well. And these big ones go for $125, which is crazy. This has to be the most expensive eyeshadow palette I have ever purchased in my life. I have bought some Natasha Denona palettes, but I feel like those were a little bit less. I can't remember, but I believe this was the most expensive one. I can definitely say that the packaging was phenomenal. This is a very heavy palette. I can definitely tell that some money definitely went into the packaging, and it's just really luxurious and really cool. It has Pat McGrath and then labs, and has some like hieroglyphics things, and then the back is a beautiful golden mirrored tone, and it's like etched in. It's just very luxurious packaging, so they definitely don't skimp out with these. If you guys do purchase the smaller ones, they do have more of a cardboard packaging. So I believe the small ones are around like $55, and I have used mine for a few different looks, so mine might be a little bit dirty, but this is kind of what it looks like when you open it. So these are the shades in the Bronze Seduction, so very like fall tones, and then this is how far the mirror opens. It doesn't go back all the way, it only goes back about this much, so it's a little bit hard when I'm doing like my makeup in this. I like to use my little mirror because it doesn't go back as far, but it is really nice quality. So I did want to go ahead and read about the palette on the Sephora website. I always do this in my reviews, but it's described as a palette of 10 richly pigmented shades and 5 next generation formulas that come together to fashion your most fixating looks for luxury at your fingertips. Something that actually surprised me about this palette, based on the swatches, I feel like the swatches I saw looked a little bit different than how it actually is in person, because I don't remember seeing a bunch of glittery shades in swatches, and maybe that just like totally phased me and I forgot about it, but I don't remember seeing that. And then when I got it, it's almost all the palette is glitter. So basically there's like a few different formulas. It has actually 3 mattes, and I said 2, so sorry about that. It has 3 mattes in it, which is good. A nice like crease color, which I would use, an outer corner, or however you guys want to use it too, it doesn't really matter. But and then like all of these glitters. So I was kind of not expecting that. I was expecting more of like a foiled buttery eyeshadow like some of the other ones that I had swatched. I was not expecting glitters, and not that glitter is a bad thing, because I actually really do love glitter eyeshadows, but I've recently purchased like 3 or 4 glitter palettes, so I was kind of like, oh, like I wasn't excited right away when I was using it, because I was expecting like this beautiful, luxurious, buttery, smooth, foiled eyeshadow, and that's not what it is. but it still creates some really pretty looks. So keep that in mind. This is mostly like a glittery eyeshadow palette. So I do want to do a look for you guys as well. In this video, just like my favorite go-to eye look with this palette, but right now I'm going to go ahead and insert these swatches. These are just finger swatches. Of course, these might look totally different on the eyes, depending on if you're using a glitter glue or something like that. They could definitely go on more pigmented, but this is how they look. Just swipe with my finger. So as you guys can see, I feel like my swatches did not swatch nearly as good as the ones that I saw before I purchased the palette, so that's kind of disappointing. But I do want to go ahead and show you guys my favorite look with this palette that I've been doing. This does have some like fun tones in it, but I feel like some of these look a lot different on the eyes than what they look like swatched. Like I was expecting this one to be like a really pretty pearl, but it has like some duochrome to it. It's very soft, but it goes on just like super gold, super warm, and I was hoping for something more cool tone, but it definitely like looks almost gold on the eyes, which I wasn't expecting. And then it does have like these shift kind of glitters too, which are fun little toppers. This super glittery one, and then there is this fun red, which honestly I know a lot of people love this shade. That is like the one shade I haven't played with, but it is like really creamy. I'm sure this one is going to be beautiful. This one is more of like her foiled eyeshadow effect and not glittery, so I haven't really got to play with that one. I don't use a whole lot of reds for my everyday looks because I was trying to create like everyday looks for work with this palette. I work at a clothing boutique and I do a lot of photo shoots every week, so I don't want to go like too crazy with my eyeshadow, but like I would say some of my favorite shades in here is probably this pinky glitter. That one's beautiful. And this like bronze glitter, which is probably my most used shade and the most neutral in the palette. So that is the look I'm going to be showing you guys today. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so the first shade I will be going in with is this one right here. This is the lightest matte in the palette, and I pretty much use this just as my crease color, and it's not too dark, but it is very pigmented. I do find these shadows fairly easy to blend, which is great. Definitely expect that from such a high-end palette, but they're not like as buttery as you would expect them to be. But that can also be a good thing because they don't have a ton of fallout, which I know some people hate fallout, so you guys might like these. They're pressed in pretty good. But I am just kind of putting this all over my crease and a little bit in my outer corner to start off the look. I'm going to make this tutorial pretty easy so that it's not like super long and in-depth, but just like an easy wearable look. And then with that same brush, I'm just going into this deeper color. This one is a deeper brown. It's very warm tone though, but it does create nice depth. So I am just packing this into my outer corner. And sometimes this palette is so heavy, it's kind of hard to use it as a mirror, but that's what we're going to be doing today. But yeah, this one, it goes on just like really nice and strong. So the mattes are pretty good in here, but not like super creamy like some other palettes are. If I was going to compare like these mattes to the Natasha Denona ones, I feel like I like these better. Alright, so as you can see, that was like super easy to blend, super quick, and it looks great. So next I'm going to go ahead back in with that crease shade, and that is going to be my lower lash line color. I always like to use something down there just to add a little depth and kind of look more like smoky. So I am just going to take a little bit and just lightly smooth that along my lower lash line. It's really weird, but I kind of like to go right where my under eye starts to crease. So when it has that little wrinkle right there, it kind of helps cover it, which is really nice. So I just do this with every look. I'm not sure if this was on camera or not, but I did go ahead and take my Urban Decay Roach eyeliner from Urban Decay, I think I said that already, and I did that on my lower lash line and upper lash line just to line it a little bit, and then I'm going to go ahead and just kind of blend my eyeshadow and eyeliner together. Typically I do my eyeshadow makeup first before my face, just because like if I went too heavy down there, I can easily clean that up with concealer or clean it up before I put my face makeup on. But for the sake of this video, we're doing it last so you guys can see like the complete look. But I don't think it got too crazy. I just blended out really easily. I am going to take this bronzy glittery shade. This is like definitely glitter. It's very fine, but it does add a little bit of pigment with it as well. And firstly, I want to show you guys how it applies with a brush. So without any glitter glue or anything, this is just a eyeshadow brush and a little bit of MAC Fix Plus on there, or you can just use water just to get it a little bit wet. But you can totally apply this one with a dry brush, but it does look better with like the glitter glue. But I'll show you guys how it looks with just a brush and water. It's not as intense, it's a little bit more subtle. But like with those chunkier shades, like especially this one, you'll definitely want glitter glue. But this is how it looks without glitter glue, and now I'll show you guys on my eye how it looks with. This is just Too Faced glitter glue. You can use NYX glitter glue, you can use the new Anastasia glitter adhesive, whatever your heart desires. So I am just taking a little dot on my finger, and I am going to just place that where I want my glitter shadow. So I'm just taking it from the inner corner into the middle, and that'll create a sticky base. And then you can I'll apply it with a brush because it's less messy. I'm going to apply that bronze again over that. So mostly that's going to make it a little bit more pigmented and keep any glitter from falling out onto the face. So I'm just going to even out my eyes a little bit. It's not like a huge difference, but it definitely goes on a lot more powerful. I feel like I want to add a little something extra. This is kind of just a basic, I would call it like a bronze smoky eye, but I want to add a little something extra. So I will take my finger in this like, it's like a white glittery duochrome shade, and I'm going to place that on top just to add some more glitter. So as you can see, this one definitely packs a punch. This one's kind of like a topper, and it kind of created a lot more like green gold effect, which is fine. I don't feel like it's very wearable for every day, but it's pretty. So then I'm going to go back with my outer corner shade and just kind of define that a little bit more and blend everything together. Now I'll quick add some mascara and we will be done. Alright guys, so that is the finished look. I wasn't expecting to add that last glitter shade, but I thought it'd be kind of fun just to show you guys how the color kind of changes, how it looks like with that like glitter kind of topper. And it's very pretty and very like bold, and it definitely stands out. So for my overall thoughts on the palette, I think it is very beautiful. There are some really beautiful colors in here. I think if you guys love glitter, if you guys like these unique kind of shades and you're into very bold, like fun, colorful looks, this would be for you. And also if you enjoy high-end luxury makeup. But for me, I don't love it, and I hate to say that because I know so many people are obsessed with this palette and think it's like the best thing of life, but it just, I feel like for the $125 I have to be in love with it to be able to justify that, because that is crazy expensive. And to be honest, there is so many like glitter palettes out right now. I have the Ciate Glitter Storm, I have the Huda Beauty New Nudes, I have the Anastasia Sultry, which has a few glitter shades in it. So I feel like since there are so many I bought at the same time as this just doesn't feel as special, you know? Like I feel like if this came out a few months earlier or in the beginning of the year, I'd be like, yes, like all over it. But now that I've tried like some other glitter shadows, I just feel like I don't really need this in my life. Like that's very expensive for a palette, and I want to be in love with that palette to be able to justify it. And for me, I can't. Like I've fallen in love with so many of the other palettes I have, like the Anastasia Sultry. I love it. It's so beautiful. I love the cool tones, and I love that they're more like neutral glitters and more wearable for every day. And while these glitters are stunning from the Pat McGrath and they're very gorgeous, they're just very loud and out there kind of shades. There's nothing that's like super good for every day, even though they are beautiful, like don't get me wrong. But I was just expecting a little more out of this palette for like being able to do a couple looks with this and just not being like totally in love with it and happy with it. I'm gonna have to say that I'm probably gonna end up returning this palette. For me, it just wasn't worth the price with all the other glitter palettes out there, if that makes sense. So some of you guys might hate me for that. I know. I'm sorry. If you guys love it, I totally understand. It is a good palette still, but for me personally, I would say save your money, pick up a different palette. There's so many good ones out there right now that are way cheaper. So I'm super excited I was able to try the formula, but I just don't think I would use this palette enough, and it's too expensive for me. So I totally forgot to film a ending part for some reason. I just went like right on to my thumbnail photo. So that's it for this video. Hope you guys enjoy, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye guys.